That seems to, as good as you've been at home, playing on the road seems to have been an issue.
I mean, yeah, it's important to be a good road team, and I don't think we're a bad road team. It just, we had a tough trip. I think to start off a trip is huge. So tomorrow night in St. Louis, especially how the way the game went on Saturday against them, they're going to be coming for us, and it's going to set the tone for the trip. And I hope we can be ready to respond and be ready to go tomorrow.
What do you think? I mean, both in Buffalo, on the island, and even in Toronto, Talbot played so well that game. Why haven't you guys been able to dictate the pace as good as you have been at home?
I don't have a good answer for you. I think we've at times dictated. We've just given up a lot, and the last 2 days we've been working on our structure, working on our tracking. So I hope that we can implement that and not give up as many grade A opportunities.
Todd talked the other night after the game about, is this team closer to the team that was the first half of the St. Louis game or the second half of the St. Louis game? So what are some of the things that you need to build on to be that team for the second half of that game?
What do we need to do to build on?
Yeah. What do you need to continue that was working well that second half of the game?
Well, we were skating, and we pinched our D, we covered, and we kept the pressure. When we pinch our D and we don't cover, we're giving up 2-on-1s, and it's going the other way, and that's been a big problem for us. So I think when we get our D down and we're able to cover for the D, let them be aggressive, it keeps teams on their heels. I think at times we've let teams be on their toes and then build confidence and continue to be on their toes, and it snowballs. So I like how we got right to it, and we figured it out mid-game. It didn't take us 2 practices to figure it out. We came back, and the most important thing is we found a way to win, and that's big for our hockey team.
Finding a way to win. Just what do you learn about the resilience of this team as far as what you've seen early this season after the Montreal?
Well, that left so shitty. You'll know.
Losing 2 straight coming back to St. Louis.
Yeah. It's early in the season, and we have been resilient. We've been challenged a lot, and we've responded. So I like the attitude of the group, and it's still early, but we got to keep that. We can now look whenever things aren't going our way. We were down 4 against St. Louis. We have that. We showed we can do it. So in a long season, there's going to be times where we're going to be in the same position, and we're going to be like, hey, we did this against St. Louis. So that's very important, especially early.
Dylan, is it a little bit hard to figure out the dichotomy of the team that you guys can be so good and then also just seem to have a totally different identity almost?
No, we're a young team, and look at the average age of our D-corps. We're young, and there's going to be times where we have to learn, and I think it's important how quickly we learn. And it's still early in the season. We've been winning in different ways, which is important, and figuring out on the road is part of maturing. So I think this is a big road trip. It's an exciting road trip. I count all of our fans that come and support us in California, and I hope there's some energy from them with our start, and a lot of them show up like they normally do, and it's a fun trip. I hope there's excitement from our young guys and from our group to go out and play on the road on this trip.
Speaking of young guys, and he with another goal on Saturday. He was tied for the lead in scoring. How great is it to see him?
Yeah, it's a big impact, and I've talked about him a lot. Can't say enough good things about him as a person, as a player. It's good. I think he's also learning that now people are going to be watching out for him. You got to continue to drive, continue to push, and kind of prove it every night. So He's done it. He's done everything so far. I don't see why he couldn't continue to keep going.
Thanks, Larkin.
So much better at home than on the road so far. I mean, even the game you guys won in Toronto, it was.
Thought about it a lot. I don't know if there's a real pattern to the games. And again, I don't know what the root cause is for it yet. I don't think we've figured that out. We haven't played enough, in my opinion, on the road yet. Sometimes the other team is just better. They were in Toronto, and the goaltender bailed us out. The Buffalo game, when I went back and watched it again, there were moments where we had some good opportunities. So that was a little more even. The Islander game, I guess it was, it really got away on us. We couldn't reel it back in. So we haven't played near to our capabilities yet on the road. I can't tell you why yet.
And just how much more importance is there on the game tomorrow, given the Blues, I'm sure, are going to be wanting to answer for what happened at home Saturday?
Well, teams are going to always want to answer. That the way you pose that, you could say, boy, Red Wings are going to be pissed off when they get back from New York, and they just got drilled by the Islanders, so get ready. Well, that wasn't the case. I don't think we can think of it or build it that way. Odds are they're going to want to be real hungry. They play tonight. It's not like it's a back-to-back series, but I'm not too worried about what they're thinking about or how they're going to approach the game. I'm a little more concerned about our group and making sure they're ready to play.
Those 7-second drills earlier in practice today, was that kind of more of an emphasis on making quicker decisions with the puck?
Yes and no. When you practice the power play and there's nothing on the line, it gets cute and does nothing. And if you keep practicing that way, that's how it carries over into the game. And that's kind of where our power play's at. When you put something on the line and there's a little intensity added to it, all of a sudden things change. And, it's not a way of tricking them into intensity. It's something that I believe in, that, off a face-off, why can't we establish a shot within 5 to 7 seconds? We used to do that here all the time. We don't need a fancy play. We can get pucks to the net and then play off the pads. We do it 5-on-5, and it allows us to have success. Why would we change it 5-on-4? So that series of drills with the 7 and 20, we've done that before in the past, and it creates a sense of urgency. It creates a sense of time, and having to get it done right away, and they have to play fast, and they did today in practice. It needs to carry over.
And then going back to Los Angeles, and this is Anze Kopitar's final year in the NHL. You coached him. Do you plan on maybe trying to catch up with him a little bit? And do you kind of see any parallels with what you saw in him to players that you're coaching now in Detroit?
I will seek him out. That's how much I think of him. He has been and still is an incredible player. Understands the game so much from both sides of the puck. Understands game management. Zero surprise that he's won Stanley Cups. Zero surprise that he's won individual trophies, a lot of them from the checking perspective, yet he can provide the offense. And zero surprise that he's a captain of a team. And, that's, I think, very highly of him, very, very highly. And as far as our own players, I don't want to label any of our guys. They're their own people. It would be great to have one or two Anze Kopitars on our team. Perhaps maybe we have them. Maybe they will evolve, but I'm not going to put any names there.
I recognize you have 2 games before Friday, but I might write about Gibson returning to Anaheim. So do you think you'll play Talbot in L.A. and then Gibson in Anaheim?
Yes, I do. And now that can change.
Of
but,
course.
We're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
But that's
the
the plan.
That's what we would do.
In light of, this is his first new organization, you're sorting out some stuff in front of both goalies. Just how's John's adjustment been?
Well, when you look at his overall presentation to his teammates, to his coaching staff, to the people that are around here, maybe even to the media, I think it's been really good. It seemed seamless. I think his family's enjoying the new community. His kids are having a great time. So there's that part of life with a new team. Then there's adjusting to coaching staff system, goalie coach, and I think that's going okay. Then there's the part of playing the games and getting involved in practice. Drills are different. Coaches go at different paces or different tempos, so he's adjusting to that. I think if we compare the Islander game and the St. Louis game, okay, they're similar in a lot of ways. It just they didn't get to 5. I don't know when the last 5-goal deficit has been erased, but 4 happens every now and then. 3, you got a chance. 2, pretty good opportunity, and 1, it's anybody's game. He did a real good job the other day of at 4-0, making some 10-bell saves to keep us in the game. And like I said yesterday, I don't finger him for any of the 4 goals. So, yeah, his numbers don't look like he's been playing well, but other than the opening night, he's been pretty solid.
Todd, just, it's early in the season still, but just you've shown some resilience, the Montreal opener, the last, losing streak and against St. Louis. How important is resilience, and what have you learned about your team so far from how they've, responded?
Well, I think, Carlos, the resilience thing is huge. There's just too many games throughout the year that if you don't have a bounce back, if you don't have water off your back and respond attitude, it can really start to pile up. And I still think we're developing those skills. I don't think we're where we need to be. Training camp this year, we talked about wanting to be harder physically. And that's all over the rink. It's not necessarily banging guys through the boards, it's face-offs, net front, all that type of stuff. But also between the ears, being a lot harder there mentally. And we've seen really good responses. We've seen some where it got away on us. When it will really value it is when it's purely coming from the group instead of maybe the coaching staff. But until that happens, we're prepared to push them, and we'll continue to do that. But I think it's starting. You can feel it. It's starting to come. The guys are doing a good job, but the handoff has to happen at some point. When it does, then we'll really be where we need to be.
With St. Louis, you saw Bennington the other night, and I know they're playing tonight, so it might be Hofer tomorrow. But either way, both of them are guys that like to, when they get the chance, they like to push it, especially in that second period there. What are the things that you kind of as a coaching staff, how do you think about that and plan for that for a team, whether it's the goalie or the defense on the, maybe specifically in that middle period of just the quick swing back up? And
yeah, so I think what you're asking me is the goaltender gets out and wants to play it, likes to play it, and has significant confidence with it.
Yes, yeah.
And that is Bennington and Hofer. They're both very good at it. So all of a sudden you're adding in, an extra half defenseman. They play with 2.5 defensemen. So one, when we just attack the 2D man, we don't really want to give them the puck in a comfortable situation. So why would we do that with a goaltender? Mm-hmm. And we talk to our players about dumps or giving up the puck. You can't always have possession. I know the analytics people would love it if we could just skate it in every time, but it doesn't happen. You have to give up the puck. The release and the area that you release it to and how you get it there is actually a skill. It's a skill. And we never ever think about that because we're told don't give up the puck anyhow. So we stress to our guys it's a skill, make it valuable. It's hard for goaltenders to handle pucks on the glass. It's hard for goaltenders to handle slow rims. Now it's hard, slow rim, and he's out there and everybody's meeting him. So there's some areas that if we're going to dump it towards the net, we talk about that a little bit, but we'd prefer to keep it away from them and only play against 2 defensemen instead of 2.5.
Is that one of those underrated skills of a penalty killer? When you think about picking forwards and guys who are going to be, obviously you're thinking about positioning and stick work and everything like that, but when you get the puck on your stick and obviously you're trying to get it out and out of danger, that kind of the ability of where and when to place it, is that something that comes into mind when you're thinking who fits in them?
We spent more time in our zone the other day on the penalty kill, gave a goal up because we didn't get it clear. So now we're talking about somebody other than maybe the goaltender, but just our penalty killers. We had it on our tape, and you sense or panic a little bit more I don't know if that's a good word, but you sense the danger a little bit more when you're penalty killing. You feel rushed to get it out. And sometimes when you're rushed, you're just firing right back to the D-man. They keep it in, and lo and behold, it's in your net if you don't get the clear. So having the poise and the talent and the skill to buy an extra second to get the job done is important as a penalty killer.
Todd, any concern with Bronsek Igor as far as how he's playing or anything?
Well, Brantz is, well, we're talking about the youngest guy on our team. He had a significant impact in exhibition season. The NHL starts, and some of the superstars are still trying to find their game. The goaltenders are trying to find their way. And you get to around the 9 or 10 game mark, and that's what the real NHL is. And that's where we're at right now. So Brant's, it's getting faster for him, and he's still doing a good job in a lot of areas. Tight game, tight quarters, physical shot, still real good. Longer game, little harder for him. But if we expect him to be, like a savior, as I said, that's not what he's going to be. And the big thing with him will be his confidence. We'll try and work with him to make sure that he doesn't give any of it back, because he's earned the right to be a very confident player.
And just also, Nick Danielson, you had said before he got hurt in preseason, he looked like he could make the team. He just got activated.
Yeah, he did. I think highly of him, based on what I saw at camp. I know the organization thinks highly of him. He missed 3.5 weeks. He was able to keep his legs moving, the upper body, so he worked hard on that. Got good reports. He's only played 3 periods of hockey, though, in the last 3.5 weeks. He might have to get his feet wet a little bit more, but I think at some point this season we'll see Danny here, and we'll get a chance to evaluate him. But right now, everything's positive with the way he's playing.
Todd, 9 games, relatively small sample size. When you come back, you will play 14. We have a better kind of handle on what this team is, or is there a number of games at the start of the season where you kind of use as a gauge to determine that?
Last year, going into the break, the All-Star World Cup, whatever it was, I remember saying, we're going to find it. Who are we? So that was February, I think it was, early February. We're still trying to figure out who we are. I don't know if we can do that in 9 games or 14 games or whatever. We're still trying to figure that out, and you can see that in our play. Like, which team were we the other night? Were we the first half or the second half team? I'd like to think we're the second half team, but I can't put numbers on evaluations. What I will tell you is, you said that 9 games is a small sample size. That's 11% of our season's already gone. We've played, I don't know what it is. I think we have 80% or 75% of our games or 25%, pardon me, of our games are already gone with within our division, and we're only 9 games in. So somewhere in that range. I don't have the perfect math, but that's how quick opportunities disappear. So small sample size, but 11% is already gone. And when we get back, we'll be at that 15, 16% range, and that starts to paint a pretty good picture for you individually, your stat line, your contribution to a team as an individual. You've played a fifth of the season already. Are you happy or unhappy? And are we happy or unhappy as a group? But I still don't know who we are yet.
And are you going to go back to Gibson tomorrow?
We're going to go back to Gibson tomorrow.